This is The Wheel Weaves Watches, a spoiler-free breakdown podcast of The Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime. I'm your host, Dani, and I'm joined by my co-host, Brett, and we're here to bring you an in-depth look into the Wheel of Time show. We'll share reactions, episode breakdowns, and relevant background information without spoiling future content from the book series. So let's get watching. Tonight, we're talking about Episode 4 of Season 3 of The Wheel of Time.
Yeah, so Episode 4 is The Road to the Spear.
Oh.
Okay, before we say anything, I have to retract a statement previously said on this podcast.
Did you say that the other episodes were the best of TV?
I did. I said that the first episode or whatever was the best TV I've ever seen in my life. Okay, this episode was the best TV I have ever seen in my friggin' life. And
if you say so far, then you never have to retract again.
So far.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a lot of feelings that are trying to burst out of me right now.
I know.
Where do you want to start? The liquor, the alcohol that you purchased specifically for tonight?
I did.
It's a good place to start.
And I cooked.
And you cooked. You did everything.
Last week was wild. Last week was a wild roller coaster.
Right.
In our lives. And didn't get around to making some very specific Wheel of Time food.
Right.
However, tonight I did.
Yes.
I made some hand pies. Meat hand pies.
Pasties. Not pasties, apparently.
Not pasties. We got in a lot of trouble for saying that.
Right. A long time ago,
podcast.
But we've learned better.
That's right. Now, I also went in search of apple brandy.
Right. I don't know that it exists here.
To pay homage to the two. Yes, it does. We had it in the first season.
Right, but where did it go?
I don't know. So I went to exactly one liquor store.
Right, and they didn't have it.
But they had cherry brandy.
Right.
And they had apple whiskey.
Right. I'm currently working my way through the apple whiskey. Mm-hmm. And then for our rewatch of this episode, which will occur right after this.
I'm drinking the cherry brandy.
Is it good? Is it good, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
I made a nice little variation on a Singapore sling.
Nice.
Some gin, some cherry brandy.
Okay.
It's good.
All right. Enough about that.
Okay.
Let's get into this episode because I need to rewatch this episode once or twice or 3 times more tonight.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start by saying that this episode is so accurate to the books. They literally took the scenes from the book, and I'm going to say debatably, these chapters that this episode covers is the most impactful and most important chapters
in the book series.
Yeah. Because it outlines the history of not only the Aiel, but the Tinkers and the Age of Legends and Lanfear's role in everything. And Rand's bloodline. Everything. They nailed it.
They did an excellent
Congratulations.
job.
Congratulations, Wheel of Time people who did the show.
They did so good. Well, these chapters in the book, I remember when we covered them on our book podcast.
Longest episodes we've ever recorded, I think.
We recorded it live on our Discord.
Right.
And so it was so impactful. It was like 2 full days of note-taking.
Right.
Or something like that to prepare to do this. And then I read the chapters backwards and forwards. And I wonder if there's a way to watch this episode
backwards.
But the way you do it backwards is you read the perspective forwards, and then you go back to the first perspective, and it was challenging, but it's definitely the way I recommend doing it if you're reading the books. Now, if there's a way for us to somehow get timestamps of each perspective,
I'm sure there's a way.
Oh no, I know 100% there's a way.
Yeah.
But I'm saying is if we go through and actually
if someone does that,
then I would love to watch it that way backwards and then forwards and then backwards, because that's how I read it. I read it forwards and then backwards and forwards, and it made everything make so much more sense.
Yeah.
Now, I have to tell you, the only criticism I have...
I don't even know if I want to hear this. Go.
It wasn't longer.
Okay. Well, we got an extra long episode, I feel.
It was like 70 minutes.
It was more than typical.
It was more than regular.
Oh, you're just being greedy now.
I really am.
Yeah.
But you know what this gave me? Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince vibes.
Why? I don't know enough about that to understand what you're referencing here.
Because Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, book 6 is my favorite book because they go back in time and see a bunch of memories.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of memories of Voldemort and whatever.
Memories are so cool to see because then you can see
why
why people are the way that they are.
Everything makes so much more sense. And I loved every single memory we got in the book. And then in the movie, they only did like 1 or 2.
Not enough.
And it annoyed the fuck out of me because I was like, no, there's so much more important details you missed.
You know what? I'm so happy that this episode, they really only focused on the Ruidian sequences. Like, we got a little bit of preamble to set it up.
Actually, because I was wondering if at some point we were going to flip to, like, what's Matt doing? What's Perrin doing?
I don't want to see those guys now.
Not even a little bit.
Don't even show them to me. Like, I love them. I love them. But I don't need to see that right now. I need to see only Rand and only Moraine.
Right. And at some point in the chapter, we paused so I could get another drink. And then I was like, I think we skipped a perspective, like my favorite perspective in the book. Because there were so many more.
There's so many perspectives. I think they missed, they didn't miss. They intentionally left out. So that I remember off the top of my head right now. I know, and we talked about that. That's going to be a topic.
Because I was like, wait. Did I make that up in my head, or are they just like doing the most important ones?
Yeah, your third attempt at explaining what you were trying to say made more sense. The first one,
you get it now, though.
I do now.
Okay.
But at the beginning, you're like, I'm pretty sure there was like a snow fighting scene. I was like, are you just thinking of what?
Well, there was that snow fighting scene, but there was a different snow fighting scene.
Yeah,
where they learned to fight, and I don't know
something about spears and becoming. It's fine. It doesn't matter.
And I was like, that was my favorite. And you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. This is the best.
Yeah.
So
okay.
That's how off the bat I'm feeling off the top of my head. Everything was so excellent.
Yeah.
Except one disappointment was that not every little thing from the book was in this scene.
Yeah.
Because it was so accurate. Like everything else from the books, I feel like I've been okay with little changes.
Right.
And there were some little changes I was totally cool with.
Yeah, we don't need as much nudity as there is in the books.
I was actually very disappointed we didn't get naked
You just want to see...
I do.
Yeah.
I want naked Avienda and naked Moraine.
But then you have to have naked Rand. Well, you know what, actually?
In the books, it's very sexist.
It's very specific.
Only the women get naked. The men do not.
Yeah.
And so I wanted a little bit of naked running down the mountainside.
But you know what I would want?
What?
That's from the show, is Moraine's hat. I need the hat to stay on. Like, it's a lovely hat.
Have her running naked,
but with the hat.
The sun hat.
You gotta watch out for your sunburns and such. It's the desert. Like, you gotta be careful.
And the hat's gonna help with that.
Right.
If you're naked.
It's gonna keep your
forehead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta prevent those wrinkles, you know? That's what it's all about.
Okay. Well, anyway, that was good. And I was saying that there's so many things that I'm totally cool with what they've changed from the books and what's going to happen next and this and this.
Well, it's also like interpretations, because them showing the scenes is also incredible.
It's so good. It's spot on. So many of the visuals in this scene are exactly the way I pictured it. But because it is so spot on, that's when me and my book brain start to get nitpicky.
You start comparing because it's so close.
And I've never had an episode of this show where I've specifically nitpicked little things that aren't the same from the book. Because I understand this is an adaptation and it's a different universe and blah, 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 blah. Whatever, different turn of the wheel, however we want to look at it. But this episode was so freaking spot on that my nitpicky brain turned on.
Yeah, you should have shut that off. Three things I absolutely loved. Number one, the glass columns. Fantastic. Just like the visual representation of the glass columns coming up from the ground rather than having to go through.
You know what? Super cheesy graphics when Altara, what's her name? Is that her name?
No.
Latra?
Latra? Yeah.
Latra Sedai?
Yeah.
When they come up in the one vision, when they spring up.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a little cartoony.
Okay,
But
you're just the worst. Okay.
The rest of the graphics, so good.
That was the first thing. Second thing, I loved the rings, because there is such a comparison to the Aes Sedai with everything they do with the rings.
Such good, yeah.
I love it. It's just like, but it's different.
Well, and it's also kind of like the three arches.
Yeah.
Right? In a way? Is that what you were saying?
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Oh, you said comparison to the rings. You said rings.
Okay.
Not arches.
Yeah, arches. Like the rings are comparisons to the Aes Sedai with the arches.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Because when you said rings, I thought you meant like Aes Sedai rings.
Yeah, okay.
And I was like, I guess.
They're circles.
But yeah, it's like, the way back comes but once, and you go in, but you might not return.
Yeah, come back to us.
And it's Avienda's Wise One testing, which is kind of the same as Egwene and Elaine and Nynaeve's accepted testing or whatever.
Well, and it's really funny because as you go through this like timeline and backtrack through history, you can understand why the Aiel have so many things similar to the Aes Sedai, because in the Age of Legends, they were essentially like what the Tinkers are now, Aiel following the way of the leaf as servants of the Aes Sedai.
With protection from the Aes Sedai, which is why they don't need to have a violent lifestyle.
Yeah, and then you can see the comparison of Aiel today in this time of where there's so many similarities to what the Aes Sedai are and were. Like, it's so wonderful, and I love that Robert Jordan created this, like, backwards universe where you can watch them forming, like, becoming what they are. It's the best. It's so good.
These chapters,
the best
in book 4, are the most riveting, excellent, intelligently written literature
ever in the world, ever
that I've ever read,
ever forever.
It is just so intelligent. It's just so good.
Okay, last thing, that was two things that I want to point out that I loved. Okay. Last thing, I love that Yosha, the actor who plays Rand, got to play all of the Rand counterparts of his ancestry line and the makeup and just like him being in the scene.
The whole thing.
It was perfect. It was perfect television.
Seriously.
I loved it.
It was so good. And then I loved the fact that they had Lanfear, like the same actress, Natasha O'Keeffe, who's playing Lanfear, who plays Mirren Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
Mirren Sedai?
Yeah. Well, technically.
The Aes Sedai named Mirren.
The more formal way to say it would be Mirren Aes Sedai.
Mirren Sedai.
Well, no. The most formal way you can say an Aes Sedai's name is their name and then Aes Sedai.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. I didn't even know that.
They do it at the beginning of the series like a couple of times, but then very quickly it falls off.
Yeah,
and it's like just Sedai.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Oh, I didn't know that.
You know, a couple of years ago, you did know it.
I don't know. I don't know what I know anymore. Anyway. I just love that the same actress plays so that we're not confused.
For sure. Yeah, we get to see Latra a couple of times, super old Latra, who's like creating the crystal columns.
And it's the same actress who played Latra who was arguing with Lews Therin.
To say, we're not doing this thing with you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get to see the evolution.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Episode 8 of season 1 in the cold open. And I love that we have Rand's dad, who makes an introduction in this series.
Right? Yeah.
And he's the one who kills Moraine's uncle.
Yeah, frickin' Laman, man.
And so they were like, oh, we're so connected.
You don't take
the wheel weaves, man.
You don't take the tree of life and turn it into a throne and then expect the Aiel aren't going to come and kill you for that.
Yeah. Well, especially when we get so back in time.
Yeah.
When the Aiel are literally tasked and...
Quested?
Quested is a good word.
They put on a quest?
They were.
Yeah.
Bring all the saplings...
Yeah.
Of this special tree.
The Chora tree.
The Chora tree.
Yeah.
To where it needs to go east, where no one can hurt you.
Yeah. Oh, it's perfect. And that's like literally the reason I feel like I love these chapters and this episode so much is because it really just breaks down like the wheel weaves.
Yeah.
It's the wheel, man.
Yeah. I think
it's all connected.
I think it's
all connected.
The one perspective I'm missing.
Sure.
Is the one that shows the connection between the dude who committed some murder and is like, oh, I'm going to protect them.
Yeah.
To the Aiel as they are today.
Sure. You want the training montage.
I want this is how we became good fighters.
They're going to protect the Tinkers.
Yeah. It's definitely alluded to that, and I appreciate that. That's just what I'm missing.
Yeah, I love the offshoots of what the Aiel were to what they are now to the different variations that you get. So amazing. And
so good.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing we have not talked about, well, I bet there's some things.
There's a bunch of stuff.
Cooladin and the Shido.
Cooladin and the Shido.
And
Savannah. Wow. Oh, man, I love it so much. And I
wish she had more cleavage,
Hold on. Fair. Now, Savannah... I absolutely love the casualness with which she states that
her husband died.
Her husband died.
Who cares?
Now she's currently married to his son, Muradin, who's having a heck of a time in the glass columns with Rand.
In case you missed it.
He clawed his eyes out.
That's the dude.
That's the dude. I don't think he's making it out of there. I'm just going to go say it on record. If you claw your eyes out in the glass columns, I don't think, like all those little skeletons you saw,
Yeah.
I think he's going to become a skeleton.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming out of there. You can't handle seeing what you used to be.
But just the casualness with which Savannah's like, yeah, my husband died, I married his son, and if he dies, then it's all good. We'll find
another. Then I'm going to marry this
I got
dude,
this
his
guy.
brother.
He's next.
Because we
He's
got
next in line
Muradin
here.
and Couladin.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
No, Muradin is the guy currently in.
Exactly.
Couladin is next.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Her husband was the guy who already died.
I know.
Yeah.
I said we have Muradin and Couladin.
Okay.
Who are...
There's a lot of apple whiskey such. I have to go watch this episode again.
I know,
okay?
you're so excited.
I know.
I
told you.
I'm just trying to break down some of the things that I want to talk about.
Yeah, that's why I had the blanket over me the entire episode. I was holding all the feelings inside me.
You were doing
and now
the
they're
thing
just coming
where you're
out.
like,
wrapping my face in the blanket.
You were doing the Logain.
The Logain pulling the... And I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Perfection.
So good. And then Moraine's future potential lives.
I love it.
I'm not quite sure. Is it prophetic? Is it not? Like what?
So we got introduced saying
1,000 future possibilities.
You get to see all the possibilities of your life. Here's a bunch of scenarios. This is how your life might go.
A bunch of them, Rand dies, and she's the one killing him.
Yeah, she dies in a lot of them.
She dies in a lot of them.
We really got to slow down on some of those sex scenes, though. I'm just saying.
We got a slow motion, though.
Slow motion. She's banging Rand. She was banging Lanfear. She's banging somebody else probably. Like, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. I don't even think we got to see a Lan one. That never happens in any universe.
No, but we unbond Lan.
Then we bond Rand. Oh my goodness. This is crazy.
And then Rand kills Lan. Like, there's a whole bunch.
There's so much. I love it.
It's so good.
This episode, like...
I loved seeing all of those because that's something that's not expressly showed. And
it's not showing, but it's
implied. And so I love seeing stuff that's implied on page and we get to see it.
Yeah.
In show.
And honestly, just
because then I'm not nitpicky. Then I'm just like, ooh, what did they come up with? This is so creative. Yeah. It's like the closer it gets to the books, actually the madder I get.
Yeah.
Actually.
I've
never felt this way about the show before, so I don't know what to do with myself.
I'm looking forward to doing like a full episode breakdown on this, but I'm also fearing it because...
In what, like 2 years?
Only for the fact that it's going to be like so nitpicky on we have to like go through every sequence.
Yeah.
What was this spinning scene of Moraine? Well, because there was like 30 of them, and
it's so good.
I need to slow down and be like, okay, well, where are we? What kind? He's wearing that red coat. That looks familiar, you know?
Yeah, but they're not like real futures. They're just potential futures.
It doesn't matter if they're real.
Okay.
It's a possibility, and I want to see it again and talk about it. Okay, let's go rewatch this episode.
Anything else you want to talk about first before we get anything?
Probably. He who comes with the dawn, if he didn't wait for Moraine, he wouldn't have come with the dawn. So maybe Avienda, cool your pants.
Oh, right.
Because he who comes with the dawn, not he who comes in the middle of the night. He needed to wait for Moraine to get there with the dawn.
Right. I prefer he who comes for brunch.
He who comes for Loyal had it right.
Yeah.
Why is it always leaving with the dawn? Why can't it be like after a hearty breakfast?
Yeah, I agree.
I agree with that.
I would actually totally prefer mimosas.
He who comes after mimosas.
French toast and eggs Benedict.
Hey guys,
he who comes for brunch. I've been saying it for years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. Good. That's all.
Didn't Egwene a little bit want to go? And they're like, no, you can't.
No, you can't go.
And then Couladin was like, I'm going to go. And they're like, no, you suck.
Oh, and putting Couladin in his place is like, hey, Couladin, if you want to be a wise one, you put a dress on and you come and ask.
Yeah.
If you can be a wise one. And I'm still going to tell you no.
Yeah.
Just perfect.
So good.
Perfect in Schlag. Let's go.
Let's go. Watch it again?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Because as we say around here, it's part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Hey, thanks so much for sticking around. That's the end of another fun episode. The Wheel Weaves is hosted and edited by Dani and Brett and produced by Dani and Brett with Passion Socks, Cody Feltz, Benjamin, Jamie Young, Megan, Jared Berg, Ricky Morissette, Adam, Mozyme, Michelle Forbes, MKM, Antoine Benoit, Lawrence Bradley, Colby T, Gabby Young, Rycat, Zane Sayaka, Matrix, Matt Truss, The Albatross, Bratimus Prime, Sarah Creech, Sims, and Saverio Bartolini. With music by Audionautics. Now, everyone, please be sure to go check out our Patreon page if you are interested in supporting us and the podcast. We'd love to send you some Patreon exclusive merchandise as a thank you, plus you'll gain access to our episodes earlier than everyone else. And at the time of recording, we have almost 50 bonus episodes for your listening pleasure. Find all that and more at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. As always, please be sure to give us a 5-star review because it really does make a huge difference in helping other people find us. And be sure to tell a friend, Riyadh, because referrals really are the best compliment. For general information about our show, like how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, and how to get in touch with us, visit thewheelweavespodcast.com. Thanks again for listening. This really is part of the pattern now.